Hello, it's Jonathan Swift, the Content Director of Infopro Digital's Insurance Division, with another Insurance COVID cast brought to you by Insurance Age and Insurance Post. And today we have the final word on the Insurtech 100, which was brought to you by Sonar and Insurance Post. So a final few interviews, and I'm delighted to say we're kicking off with the CEO and co-founder of Pi Insurance, John Swigart. John, hello.
Jonathan, how are you?
I'm okay. How are things in Washington DC? I'll take it by the background there.
The background. Things have been very interesting in Washington DC over the last couple weeks. We're still working from home, not back in our office yet here, but there's been a lot of activity on the news and so forth in Washington DC.
I was going to say, yeah, you are kind of heart, I suppose, of the Black Lives Matters demonstrations, or some of them at least, there in Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been very exciting.
Okay, well, I think first things first, it's probably worth reflecting on the last 12 months. I mean, how have the last 12 months been for Pi Insurance? I know you've had some big news recently with the raise and I think the announcement of an insurance carrier, but actually I'll leave you the floor for you to explain all that.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous period of growth for us. We're still a relatively young business. We were founded in May of 2017. So last month we just passed our sort of 3-year birthday. So that stretch of time in the last 12 months, we've gone from, we've expanded states. We're now in more than 35 states. We've grown premium volume tremendously from where we were at the beginning of 2019. Customers, distribution channels, we sell directly to small businesses. We also sell through agents. We've added a tremendous number of agents and are continuing to expand on that front as well. We have launched new parts of our technology, especially focused on that agency channel. And as you referenced, we are beginning those steps of a long-term transition from being a pure MGA into controlling our own policy issuing companies, which we think is an important aspect for our long-term value creation. And we have some great new partners that are going to enable us to do that. So we'll be forming insurance companies as well as purchasing shell companies.
And speaking of, I suppose, incumbent insurance partners, how you find working with traditional insurance players? And obviously, you know, as an Insurtech, originally there was this talk about disruption, but it now seems to be much more around partnership. Is that the same for Pi Insurance?
It is. So Insurtech is a very broad sort of overall coverage space, and we partner with the traditional distribution channels in terms of independent agents selling Pi Insurance as a workers' compensation coverage for their customers. We partner with some other players so that today we only offer workers' compensation insurance ourselves that we actually underwrite, but we're partnering with some other companies to offer other products as well, and we're expanding that. So it's kind of cooperate with some, compete with others, cooperate and compete with others. It's a blended mix of working with different folks and doing different things in the environment. We think it's very important to partner with independent agents because in the commercial lines distribution in the U.S., it's almost 100% independent agents or something very near that. Where I come from actually a personal lines background. I spent 13 years at Esurance before this, which is much more direct, captive agent, independent agent, sort of mixed across the different spectrum. In commercial lines, it's very significantly done through independent agents, and we think that's an important part. You know, they serve a very necessary part of the overall structure for some businesses. Commercial coverages are generally a little bit more complex than personal coverages, and so having that agent to support you as a small business owner for many people is a great choice. I also believe that there's not a monolithic viewpoint of how customers, whether they're individual consumers or small business owners, want to do things. And so some are comfortable buying directly from companies and they can buy directly from Pi. Some want to use agents. And I don't think that's reality is going to change in the future. I think there will always be a place for independent agents. And I think there'll be probably a growing presence of customers that want to buy direct. And we want to serve small businesses at both places.
Can I ask, John? I mean, you've already referenced kind of COVID-19 or the current situation that we currently find ourselves in. How has Pi Insurance adapted during the pandemic, and particularly with your relationship to both your carriers and your agency base and clients direct and again through agents?
Yeah. So we serve small businesses, and they're at the at the sort of cortex of the impact of this pandemic in terms of many of them being shut down and so forth. And so we have felt the impact through them, I would say. We had a very strong first quarter. We are actually continuing the strength in the second quarter. We're working very closely with our customers to give them payment leniency, to adjust payrolls midterm if they've had to lay off employees. We're trying to be very proactive. The key part from our perspective is that they keep their insurance in force. So workers' compensation is a required coverage, and it can be difficult to get if you let it lapse in terms of whether an insurance company will underwrite you and offer you a policy. And so we're working with our customers if they've had to lay off employees or furlough employees, reducing their payrolls to give them some breathing room on their premium and to reflect the fact that they don't have active employees or a business that's active at the moment, but still keep that policy in force. And so that's been important. We transitioned to work from home in mid-March in about 4 hours. So unlike most traditional insurance companies, we're relatively young, so all of our systems are modern, just built basically, all in the cloud. And our team members, we call them pioneers, are work from home enabled the minute they start with the company. So announcing to everybody on a Thursday evening, hey, you're all going to be working from home tomorrow indefinitely, just made sure they took all their laptops home. And so whether it's sales, customer care, underwriting, engineering, all those different parts of the business, we've been fully productive and fully operational since that time. And so that's actually, I think, benefited us to a certain extent with some of our independent agency channels, because those partners are able to also work from home when they work from home. So they can access all the systems that they need to work with us just through URL. And there doesn't have to be any sort of in-office firewall stuff that works. So that's been beneficial. We think we saw a bottoming in kind of late April, I would say, and are beginning to see things climb back out. We're continuing to add agencies. We're growing a bit on the direct side as well. And so from our look, it looks like things are starting to return, but we're not quite back to the pre-COVID levels yet.
And obviously, you might have changed your plans from post-COVID to pre-COVID, and you've already hinted, I suppose, with the fundraise about some of your plans. But what can we expect from Pi Insurance over the next 12 months? What are your plans?
Yeah, continue to expand our agency footprint. So we look to have as many as 1,500 agents working directly with Pi by the end of 2020. We are going to file and we believe get approval for our first insurance company, which we call Pi Insurance Company, domiciled in the state of Pennsylvania. Start licensing that up and continue to expand on the long-term vision of automating the processes around small business insurance. So the personal lines world, where I come from, very, very automated. There's a whole ecosystem around supporting kind of the automated delivery of quoting and sales. You've got, API accessible clue and MVR reports. You've got systems that sort of return to you what are all the vehicles in the household, or lots of information about the home itself if you're doing home insurance. A lot of those types of things don't exist in the commercial lines ecosystem, and so it's a little bit more challenging to automate that. But we think that's where a lot of the value lies, frankly. The big things that we push are algorithmically derived risk match pricing, and then overall more efficient operations such that we can deliver a great customer experience at a lower overall cost than incumbents, which allows us to deliver more value to the customers.
And can I ask, John, do you think the commercial lines business will ever be kind of on the same level as personal lines in terms of the kind of automation and a lot of the kind of technologies that you just talked about?
I don't know if the ecosystem will get there because there has to be demand for it. I think eventually there'll be more demand. But we will get there. So it'll just be a little bit more, a barrier to entry in a personal lines or personal auto market today is not access to information on the shopper. You can sign up with various different providers and ask your customers a name, birth date, and address, and you'll get everything. You'll get vehicles, you'll get drivers, you'll get current policy information if you're willing to pay for the cost of that stuff. We'll get that similar type of information from customers as well, but we'll have to sort of do that more in a bespoke way because some of the ecosystem is there, but not a lot of it.
Okay. Well, John, it sounds like you've got a very exciting 12 months ahead of you at Pi Insurance, so we'll look forward to following these developments with much interest. Thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan.
And there we have it. That is Pi Insurance. We now move to Paris, Europe, and the CEO and co-founder of Shift Technology, Jeremy Jawish. So Jeremy, can you tell me what have been the most significant developments at Shift Technology within the last year?
Yes, so during the last year, I'm very proud of the work that the teams have done to drive our market expansion. We have significant expansion in North America, South Africa, Asia, and Europe. It was a big emphasis of our development to really penetrate these geographies, opening offices in Boston, Tokyo, and investing more in our Singapore office. And also what was very important for us in the last 12 months in terms of investment is to really keep investing in our flagship products, which are fraud detection, the platform for fraud detection, and our new platform for claim automation. And the response of the market was highly positive in each geography for both products. And for us, it's very important to be sure that we're on the right path comparing to our strategy. What's also very important is the new thing we've done in the last 12 months is creating new partnerships. This is the thing we didn't have in the years before. And I'm very proud of what the team achieved in terms of partnership with, we announced recently Accenture, Guidewire will have more to come. But for us, it's a new way of working by having partners that are linked to our platforms.
Jeremy, can I ask, obviously your business is helping or trying to, I suppose, change and shake up traditional insurance processes. How amenable has the traditional insurance sector been to accommodating your ideas at Shift Technology?
Yeah, the exciting thing about what we do is that when we started it in 2014, it was a bet for us, going toward optimizing processes, helping and automating some processes, and improving the operation, reducing costs. And what's great is that our strategy got aligned with the need of the market, and carriers are more and more looking at technology and really embracing technologies to improve operation, reduce cost, have a greater customer's experience, which was not really an emphasis in terms of technology 4 years ago. So we have been very lucky to be at the right place at the right moment. And today, the strategy we had that is creating platforms that can help carriers to optimize processes, costs, and especially drive a good customer experience by detecting fraud that are usually jeopardizing processes, or even automating claims by having a 24/7 real-time response, accurate response, is completely aligned what customers today want to see and are investing in.
So Jeremy, you've already told me this is your first day back in your office in Paris. How has your business adapted to the whole COVID-19 pandemic in terms of both operationally and also liaising and keeping those kind of that business pipeline, new business pipeline going?
Yeah, it's I'm amazed by how we were able to adapt quickly to the situation, because it's I was completely against working from home, remote working, and it was something that everybody would joke about. Jeremy is so rigid, and when the situation changed, we adapt very quickly. So from in 24 hours, we decided that we need to be able to have everyone working from home, and we didn't wait until to have a more crisis situation. And so I'm very impressed by how the company had been able to adapt. I'm also very impressed by how the team were able to keep the close relationship with our customers, even being remote. We were doing a lot of on-site work, and being able to adapt everything remote was something that I was really impressed by. And also the other thing is, you can really see that the team is on a mission, because as soon as COVID hit, everybody will start thinking about what impact it's going to have in terms of fraud and claims. And very quickly, the team adapted to new types of fraud that are coming through COVID, and reacted very, very quickly, and already start monitoring and looking at trends that might come up, and already adapting our solution to the situation.
Because there is a lot of talk that post-COVID there will be obviously a period of economic downturn, and periods of economic downturn are often linked with an increase in fraud. Is that something you are ready for at Shift Technology?
Yeah, exactly. We're lucky to have different views of different markets, because we have customers in more than 20 countries, and countries are not affected the same way, not affected the same pace. And we already see that countries that are getting out of the crisis, that the number of fraudulent claims is increasing significantly. Also, types of fraud are changing. Some people are taking advantage of the COVID circumstances to blame some claims they didn't have, or they had different circumstances on the crisis. Of course, it's not everyone, luckily, but you can see an increase in fraud. And thanks to the work that the team have done, we're able to control that, to react fast. But as for us, it's we've been created in 2014, so it's the first crisis we're seeing. It's quite impressive how the behavior of the market can change that quickly in terms of fraud.
So finally, Jeremy, can I ask, in terms of the to-do list, the next 12 months, what can we expect from Shift Technology in the next year?
So we have a plan that we're sticking to, even if the crisis hit, which is keep investing a lot in our two big products, leveraging the first partnerships we had to have more partnerships. This is the beauty of partnership that we discovered in the last 12 months. So we're really investing a lot into being able to keep doing partnership, to keep adapting the way we react to crises like COVID, and especially keep evolving our product in order to adapt to all situations. For us, it was a real test as a company, this crisis, and we are getting out of it stronger. And it's also give us history and capacity to show that we can adapt to any circumstances. And what we're embracing is being able to do it more and more, and also be more and more proactive.
Can I ask, Jeremy, when do you expect to be joined by your colleagues in your office there?
So we're working on it. We don't think that the office come back to the office should happen suddenly. So right now we're reorganizing the office. We're putting new guidance, and it's gonna be for those who want to work from office with a limited number of people. And we're gonna start hopefully in 2 weeks.
2 weeks time. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck with that, Jeremy, and best of luck for the next 12 months with Shift Technology. It was great talking to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. So there you have it, the 8th and final one of our Insurtech 100 special COVID casts. In all, we managed to cover 20 of the top 100 So I hope you found at least some of it interesting. As I always say, this is brought to you by Insurance Age and Insurance Post. If you'd like to subscribe or register to either, then please use the tab on the bar at the top, which is just here. Anyway, that's enough for me. Until the next Insurance COVID cast, it's farewell and stay safe, everybody. Cheerio.